Hi friends, welcome to Wild Cottage. Sheppy is with me, of course, as always. Want to say hello? Come here. Say hello to the people. He just wants to look at mommy, of course. And so you're very welcome to Wild Cottage in Ireland. This is my knitting podcast, and today is, I believe, the 9th of September. It's Friday. And my name is Susan. This is Shep. He's a retired sheepdog. I live here in the west of Ireland with my partner Tom and our other rescue dog Mimi. But they're out at the minute getting the last sort of salvaged windows for our kind of greenhouse / conservatory, which I'll show you in a different video. So today what I want to do, I have a few works in progress that I want to show you. And I have two finished objects. They're both the same pattern, but this is the one that I'm the most proud of. It is my first ever color work. Well, I suppose the other hat I did is my first ever. But there will be some clips to follow that will explain a bit more about this. And I also have a really exciting announcement, exciting for me anyhow, and hopefully it'll be exciting for you, that I'm doing several prizes. So first off, I'm going to give a giveaway that you will enter on this video to celebrate the fact that, hooray, I finally learned color work. It was one of my goals for 2022, and 2022 was kind of coming to an end. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to do this, but then Ellie of Curiostitches, and I've knitted a few of her patterns, but never a color work one, was calling for test knitters for this hat. And I said to her, do you think I can do it? I've never done color work before. And she's like, sure. And as a designer, I'm always here to help. So I signed up for the test knit and I've done it. So I'm really excited. So this is the Norn Runes hat, and Ellie is making a collection of different rune casting patterns. Some of them are out, and some of them, they'll all be out, and there'll be an ebook as well. They'll all be out by the 30th of September 2022. And what you do is with each pattern, I believe each pattern, I haven't looked at the socks, but yeah, I think the socks are the same as well. As well as, you get the chart for all the different runes. And then also she has a page that you can print out, cut out the runes and shuffle them out. And then you draw. So however many, I think the mitts, you can draw 2 or 3 runes depending on your hand size. The hat is 3, the socks, maybe 3 or 4, I'm not sure, depending on how long you want to knit your socks. So you can get your own personalized sort of runes. So that was really fun. So this is a lovely slouchy hat. And I'll have some more photos of myself and Tom sort of modeling them. If I get them in time, I'll put them in this video. If not, it'll be in a different video. But I'll take this off now. So yeah. So I've got my 3 runes in here. And I made another little video. And if it's okay, I'll stick that in here. You hear the wren giving out to me. I'm too close. It's not happy. It's in the fedge. Anyway, this is my finished Norn Spread Rune Hat by Ellie of Curiostitches. I did one version of this to start, and my gauge was too loose. Ended up being too loose. And this one I got correct gauge, and I love it so much. I love the other one actually as well. My yarn has, they're both rustic yarns. This is the traditional Galway breed yarn here in Ireland. And then the green, and they're both spun in County Donegal by Donegal Yarns. And the green is a mix of wools, probably Galway in it and other things. They're both rustic, did I say that? But it's got some heathery bits, some of the little few neps in it. And so in some of my decreases, they stick up in my purling, because I was also doing another new thing to me, the Norwegian purl. So this is not as beautiful looking as probably yours will be, just because it was me. And also I dropped a stitch up here and I didn't realize it till later. So, but the decrease pattern is It's really beautiful. It's not so beautiful on this one. It actually looks better on the other one I did. Whoops, okay, that's it. Drop it in the soil. But anyhow, I'm really excited, and of course this pattern will qualify. Any Curiostitches pattern will qualify for doing the Curiostitches KAL that myself and Carrie of My Wool Mitten are running from the 24th of September to the 31st of December 2022. And we are giving away weekly prizes as well as a sort of like grand prize at the end. But you don't have to have finished. On the first one, I practiced catching floats because, again, I'd never done it before. And some of the floats were longer. And then I watched a lot of videos to see colorwork tips as well as talking to Ellie. And I noticed on a Tin Can Knits blog post, popping in here to say that go check out Casey Young Folk Knits podcast here on YouTube. She just put up a colorwork episode where she talks a lot about colorwork, tips, catching floats, and all that as well. Link below. Knits blog post, they said, we don't catch floats. And I was like, oh, that sounds good to me. So I thought, oh, well, I'll try not catching floats. And so mostly on this one, so I'll show you my floats, be kind. I'm a new knitter because this is a hat. So I'm not going to be sticking my fingers in it like a mitt or, you know. So there's me basically not catching floats. And this is such a rustic, these are rustic woolly wools that'll probably just, you know, felt in. So yeah, so I'm super happy. It's going to be so nice and warm. And so to celebrate the fact, there's a funny video to come up later in this podcast. So to celebrate this fact, what I would like you to do, I want to give away some more of Ellie's patterns because I think they're really unique. They have a really fun aesthetic. Like the jumpers are all size inclusive. The patterns and everything are for like any body. So they're not, you know, overly feminine or overly masculine. I think they're super great because like the smaller things like the knit, the socks and the mitts and the hat. I think she even has a pair of slippers. Really great for, you know, gifts. They're quick. And then you have the jumpers. And what I love about especially that rune jumper, I looked at that and I thought, I know so many guys that will like that wouldn't necessarily, you know, traditional, you know, men that might not be into regular color work, but they'll love that. So that made me very happy to see something I can knit for some of the guys, you know, that are in my life. And yeah, so if you have someone like that in your life, do check it out. Anyone that loves runes or loves Vikings, loves that television show, definitely check out the rune patterns again. They're not all quite out yet, but a lot of them are. So anyways, so I'm just so excited. So what I want to do is I want to give away some Curiostitches patterns. And the way to enter is to I'll leave the link down below. She has her own website and also Ravelry. And I know not everyone can use Ravelry. If you can, it's super handy, but she has them on her website as well. So have a look at whichever one of those things suits you. Have a look at her patterns and just comment below with, I'm going to start off, I think I'm going to give away 4 patterns because I'm just super excited. So 4 people are going to win. So go in there and comment which pattern you'd like to win. And I will gift you that pattern. So Carrie of My Wool Mitten, who you may well know as well, she has a podcast here on YouTube. She's not on Instagram at the minute. She got locked out of her account and she's not sure if she's going to try to make a new one because she's having, you know, a bit of that break. But we are both running the KAL, the Curiostitches KAL. And what's going to be also, I can't remember what I've said now, so I'm just going to repeat myself. The Curiostitches KAL is going to run from the 24th of September, which here in the Northern Hemisphere is the autumn equinox. 23rd, 24th, I think it depends on your time zone. And of course, in the Southern Hemisphere, is the spring equinox. So it's going to run from the 24th of September all the way up to the 31st of December 2022. And we are going to give away prizes each week. So we're going to do it, alternate between the three of us. So myself and Carrie of My Wool Mitten. So here on Wild Cottage podcast knitting, Wild Cottage Ireland, My Wool Mitten, and then Ellie's going to give away some herself, Curiostitches, and we're going to do it via both Instagram and YouTube. So with the KAL, it's any Curiostitches pattern. If you are already knitting on one, go ahead, use the hashtag, we'll enter you into the KAL. So go ahead and start. You don't have to finish. You don't need a FO to win the prize. And at the end, there's going to be, an overall prize, but you don't have to have finished. Really, what we want to do is support a small designer who's designed several patterns, and we think, it's hard for designers to get noticed. So we hope to help get her noticed, because we think that there are a lot of you that are really going to enjoy her patterns, and her aesthetic is going to suit you really well. So that's why we're doing this. And so we hope you'll join in. It'll be fun. It's just informal. Again, you don't have to finish. There's small things. There's so many knit-alongs happening, but there's a lot of small things that will suit you for the upcoming holiday season, whatever you celebrate. So I'm excited about that. So tomorrow, a workshop is coming via Irish Fibre Crafters, coming to the dye garden here to pick different dye plants from the garden, also to forage, and then they'll go back to Sandra's dye studio and do the dyeing. And so we've been quite busy here, and September is a big harvesting month, and we're trying to, cook things and freeze some meals and this sort of thing. So what I have done for a lot of this podcast is I've done snippets, and I'm going to edit them together. And I have so much more to talk about. I absolutely do. But what I'm going to start doing, weekly podcasts. So they will all be under 30 minutes, I'd say, because I can do it weekly and I can gradually catch you up. So that's the plan. And I really hope you join in the KAL. Go and check out Curiostitches on Ravelry or on her own website. Pick what pattern you'd like to win. Comment down below. And I'm going to choose 4 winners. So good luck. Hello, I'm going to stick this video in here while I'm still in process, because I think there could be perhaps a helpful moment for some people. I just wanted to show you this before I go any further. So this is the Sol Iodo top by Time Weaver that is knit flat, and I showed it to you on last podcast, which I think is number 19. This was what I was doing, the first panel. The front and back are supposed to be the same, so I was considering this the front. Now, as I had mentioned in the other podcast, I'd stopped knitting for several months, because of my hands and different reasons. And I think I had knit to about here, and I put it aside for months and months, and then I picked it back up and finished it off. And it looks great. I've knit it to a length I think I'd be happy with. It'll probably stretch because it's super wash, but anyways, it might be a bit longer top, but that's fine. And so that's just the front panel. And then I looked on the pattern, and I have Knit Companion app, and realized I did not make any notes about how many stitches I cast on for my size, because you just do like some really simple math in there if you need to. She also has numbers for you. So I was like, I'll just count my stitches here to see, how many stitches did I cast on, because you're not increasing or anything. And I counted 166 166 stitches. And I thought, Janie Mac, that seems like a lot, but I counted it again, and anyways, and so I was like, okay, so I cast on 166, and I'm knitting away, and I'm going, these stripes are not as wide as these stripes. And when I put the item out, this panel is way wider. So I was like, okay, maybe it's my gauge. I had done a little gauge swatch for this. So maybe my gauge is different. So after I got to kind of about here, I decreased. Editing Susan here, I just want to make sure that it's understood that it's not a fault of the pattern. It's somehow I added way too many stitches as I got to the first of the top piece, which is totally possible when I have fibromyalgia brain fog. So I know it's something that I did. The pattern is super easy to follow. I just had a big brain fart. So I decreased one, the stitch pattern is like 18 stitches. So I decreased 18 stitches. And I kept knitting, and I was still like, this is enormous. So I decreased another 18 stitches here. And I think I still might need to decrease again. But the good thing about this pattern is, I'm sorry this is so rambly, that you seam it together with a little side panel that you would add on to make sure you get your correct size. So I am just wondering how this will work out for me. So this is sort of part one of this video. And when I finish, I'll let you know, did it work? I mean, my belly, there's no bad thing if there's extra flouncy fabric around my belly. And then if it's fitting tighter up here, because my hips and, area is bigger than my bust. I mean, a lot of us are that way. So we'll see how we get on. Now, I know it's super bright here. That's the shadow of the window. But I just wanted to show you what I'm getting ready to do. And you can see the first panel I did is much, what's that, about 2-3 inches longer. And it's also not as wide. But what I'm going to do now is, and I've done this a little differently than in the pattern, but I'm going to take my little bulb pins, and I'm going to pin this together for a bit, leaving, a hole for the opening of the neck, my head, and try it on and see what the story is. Okay, so I've pinned it across here. This is what I wanted to be the front, because for whatever reason, I really like this way that this neckline has done. Now, this is a little different. Because I messed up, I ended up doing all this a little differently than what's in the pattern. So then what you do is you seam it up. And obviously there's a little bit of a gap because I have safety pins, so it's not going to hang exactly like this. Yeah. And this one is the shorter one, which I want in the back, but really it probably makes more sense for it to go in the front. So let's see. It's not blocked yet and it's superwash, so it's going to stretch. So actually, that's probably going to be cute. And it's probably, if I was clever, if I had more experience in doing this, I could probably seam this up in a way that with my scoliosis, it could help, I could really personalize it to help so that this shoulder, which goes down more, things slip off this shoulder because it's lower. And then I could maybe even, seam it so that it fits the difference in my waist where this part goes in more, maybe. I don't know. I suppose what I'll do is I really should wash and block these panels before I sew it up, because it'll change things, especially the fact that one is much wider than other. But I think it's going to be really cute. It's going to be such a lovely little summer top, and I probably can hopefully mess with it to make it really kind of, because it's made in panels, to fit my wonky curvy spine body shape. So we'll see. Now I just wanted to make a little clip here. I apologize for the glare for the window, but this is, I'm washing and rinsing the Iodo top, and as you might remember, it's hand dyed, and of course there are all these dark colors. So I put in one of these color catchers, which I'd heard a lot about, but I could never find in the shop. So I finally had to order it from Amazon, and it's worked really well. There's a little bit of the purple in here. I've already rinsed that one in the same water. So the color catcher has gotten it beautifully, because here is, you know, the creamy white, and it's fine. So, I mean, I don't know if it would have absorbed it even without the color catcher, but you know, you don't want to take that chance, because dark colors, like, you know, those kind of blues and purples, they often do bleed a little bit upon the first wash. But yeah, it was not a problem at all. And to have color catcher around, this was just like a couple euros. And I think you can get big packs of it as well for, you know, a good value in bulk. So yeah, recommend. Good morning, friends. I want to show you a little update on my Norn Runes spread hat. The pattern I'm doing by, I'm testing for Curiostitches. That's just a test. It's not out yet. It's my first color work, and I'll just show you a little update. Hold on. So I finished the first rune. Now I'm on the second rune. No, I'm not. I'm finished the second rune. I'm on the third. And what I've discovered, I've been so concerned about staying loose, as all the videos tell you, because I'm a tight knitter, to not have my color work too tight. I've gotten way too loose. And I didn't notice it until sort of around here, and it was late at night, and I was just so excited about knitting that I wasn't kind of looking critically at my work and going, this hat is going to be too long, really, because it's my row gauge. Well, they're both off anyways, but, and also I did something wrong, so I have to tank back this row. So I've changed down to a needle size. I'm not being as loose. Like, I mean, look how loose those floats are. I mean, I don't know if that's too loose, but I was just so worried about it. And then I didn't catch all my floats. Anyways, yarn is everywhere. So yeah, but it's a learning experience, and the pattern designer, Ellie, she's been so patient and helpful with me, you know, giving me tips and all. And what I'm going to do is, so there's one more rune row to go here, and then the decreases. And it's going to be a long hat, and I love a slouchy hat, but it's going to probably be more of a stocking cap. Do you remember those? Which is going to be really fun. So I'm going to just finish it off, tightening, you know, bringing it in up here as I go, if possible. And I'm going to cast on for another one, because also I messed up and I got my main color, my contrast color confused, because the main body was supposed to be this dark purple, and it ended up being the white. So you can kind of see through, you know, the dark a bit. So anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cast on another, but I'm really excited about this pattern, and it's, you know, for someone that has bit better brain function than me with my fibromyalgia brain fog, you know, you won't probably have any problem at all. I mean, I just didn't notice my gauge. But yeah, so it's a super pattern, great for, I think, beginning colorwork knitters, as well as, you know, obviously people that do colorwork. You will speed through it, and it's just really unique. Okay, that's an update. Hat is done, the stocking cap version. Let's see, can we... There we go. I'm going to put a little pom-pom on. It's just, oh God. It's fine. It's cute like that. There's probably a lot there. It's not blocked yet. So, I know. What do you think? Is mommy funny? Am I funny? But I'm thinking it's like a chef's hat. So, All right, so I have several works in progress, but what I'm going to do at the moment is just show you two. One is a test knit for Cat of Heather and Hops, and I am working on her Drop Dead Freddy. That's the working name. I'm not sure if it's going to be the actual pattern name. Drop Dead Freddy jumper sweater, and it's going to be striped. I'm making it for Tom, and I'm holding together in this section this lovely yarn here from Robin's Promise Yarns. She's a hand dyer and a yarn shop owner in Williamsburg, Virginia, which I got when I was down with my dad last autumn. And the colorway is called Crimdell. It was a special colorway, so I'm not sure if it's still available. And then this is some mohair that I got at the charity shop, at the thrift shop there. I got, I think, 5 balls of this, and it has a little bit of gold flack in it. And I don't have the tag right here, but I'll put on the screen the name. But I don't know, it's not a company I've ever heard of, so who knows how old that was. But yes, so it's going to be held together like this, and then there'll be some with just the mohair. So really excited. As you can see, I've only just gotten started, but it's lovely. And then also thrifted yarns that I got, blowing out color a little bit, last year when I was in Williamsburg, Virginia in the States. There we go. So Ghost and Goblins, and I think that, well, I'll put a little picture of the label in here so you can see the color or see the dyer. But again, I think it was, the date on it was like 2012, so I don't know if they're still dyeing. But this yarn is a West Yorkshire Spinners, and again, I'll tell you the colorway on screen. And also, I'll put information in the drop-down description box below this video. And I'm holding them together to make a DK weight because I love DK socks, and I'm very excited to be making Halloween socks, Halloween colorways. So yeah, so what I do, it's just going to be a vanilla sock, and I cast on 48 stitches, and just, I don't pay good attention. I just kind of do about 1 inch of ribbing, and then I knit to, you know, whatever kind of length I think is nice. Then I do the shadow wrap heel, which I love. I find it quite easy, and I follow the tutorial by Denise of Earth Tones Girl with her podcast here on YouTube, and she also has a pattern that you can buy. It's just a few dollars, I think, that, you know, that way you can just, if you have like Knit Companion or whatever, you can refer to it. You know, if you've, like, I'll have to refer to it because it's been a while since I've done a sock, just to refresh my memory. Sorry, we are not focusing. And then I do the spiral toe, which again I learned on YouTube via Roxanne Richardson, and you all probably know her as well, and she's so helpful. And I find that toe is easy because I don't have to Kitchener. I like it a lot and it fits me well. So yeah, that's my sort of mindless project. And this at the minute is just basically stockinette, so that's pretty mindless at the moment as well. So yeah, so those are 2 of my works in progress. Now let's talk about future plans. So I broke my yarn fast for a Halloween yarns because I've been knitting a lot. I still am knitting a lot for gifting, which I've done from stash, and also from stash I'll be doing the end-of-KAL, the Stephen West end-of-KAL twist and turns, and I have shopped my stash for that. So I saw on that evil thing, Instagram, full of temptation, Vera Yarn's Design, one of my favorite dyers, had this Halloween colorway. I think they are all sold out now. This one was Abracadabra, and I got it on her merino high twist base, so it's 100% merino. I really like that. And then I got it on her kid mohair and mulberry silk base. And what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to make a ranunculus. I just really enjoy that pattern. It's easy for me, you know. And now she's got different sizes in there. I've never made it with the different sizing, so I'm going to try that. What I'm going to do is This skein is 365 meters rather than often you get 400, in 100 grams of a fingering weight yarn, but it's probably because it's high twist, so it's denser. So what I'm going to do for the ranunculus is I'm going to, do this for the collar and the shoulders. The lace work, I'm going to just do mohair. The body, I'm going to finish with this. Because normally out of a 400-gram skein, I get a short sleeve ranunculus, no problem for my size, because I'm short. And then for the sleeves, I'm just going to do mohair. So that's my plan. I'm excited about that. And then she sent in there with it, because often when you order, you might get a little freebie, her embroidery thread. And you can see it's got neon colors. And that made me think, if you watched podcast 19, sorry, this is blowing out then because of the white. Let's try to, here we go. That's a bit better. If you watched podcast 19, you saw that I had a knitting disaster with my beautiful neon shawl. And I've been thinking, I had so many wonderful suggestions. And I was kind of going, what yarn am I going to use, or what embroidery am I going to use? Embroidery thread if I embroider. And because I didn't really have any neons in my stash, so I was thinking of all different things. And then when she sent this, I remembered I have like 1 or 2 others that she sent with other orders that I did. So this could be perfect. So I'm either going to do something with that, or I have another idea, which I'll talk about another time. And yes, I'm also doing a visible mending section where I am going to talk about some books available. And I don't know if I'll put it on this week's. I might put it on next week's. But yeah, so that hopefully will be helpful for people as well. Okay, so now I'm going to answer a few of the questions. So I'm going to do... Oops, we had a boom. So I'm doing a little Ask Me Anything. So if you have a question, you can comment that down below. And you can ask me anything. I don't know if I'll answer anything. But one of the first questions I wanted to answer was because some people that had watched podcast 19, where I talked about I had started a medication to help me with my fibromyalgia and with some of the arthritis pain. And they were, folks with fibromyalgia were like, what is it? Okay, so I just want to tell you that. Now, again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just telling you what is working for me. So the medication I'm on is duloxetine at the lowest dose. So I am on 30 milligrams. That might be because I tend to be sensitive to medications. I think the normal dose, or the regular dose, is 60, although you can go up to more. But yes, so I'm on that because it's approved for fibromyalgia, also for depression and anxiety. I was having the SAD, and I was in a depression, and I have, for the past few years, I've suffered from anxiety, which I'd never had before in my life and is really rotten. And I've been managing mostly through, therapy and different practices, but it kind of gotten shite. And also the medicine is approved for, I believe, some like diabetic neuropathic pain, which is a nerve pain. And also, I think, it also was for sort of like low back pain. So what have I found helpful with it? So I have found for the fibromyalgia, it has really cut down and just that widespread pain in the muscles and like the fibrous tissue and stuff. That has really helped. It's not like it's 100% gone away, but it's super helped. Tiredness, I don't think that's really any different. For my mood, that has really helped. The anxiety, which was very much like in my body, because I wasn't actually having anxious thoughts, through I've done therapy on and off for, counseling for several years, on and off when I've needed it. So I think I have the skills, and I do the meditation, and I work out in the garden, I'm in nature. But sometimes I would just get anxiety in my body. And that has, it's almost all gone. Amazing. So I'm not having as much of that, like the muscle cramping and pain. I'm not having hardly any anxiety in my body. I'm sure if I had been having anxious thoughts, that might have helped it as well, but I wasn't really having so much anxious thoughts. As for the pain in my joints all the way up my spine from the osteoarthritis, I'm not sure it made a huge difference. It might have made some, but not a huge difference. A lot of it, though, for me is because of discs pressing on nerves, so there's nerve pain. And I wouldn't say that that's made a huge difference for me, but everyone responds differently. I started off with the 30 milligram dose, and then you bump up. I bumped up to 60, and I took that for about 2 weeks, and I just felt like it was making me a little bit kind of funny, jittery inside. I know that can pass for some people, but I also felt like it wasn't making much of a difference to the positive effects. Like it wasn't making me feel, oh, maybe I feel a little bit buzzy, but I don't have any X, Y, Z pain. And it wasn't that way. So I just went back down to the 30, and I'm on it for, I guess I'm on 3 months now, coming up to 3 months maybe. And the difference is really good. And so when it's really helped me with my seasonal depression, which I get here, you can get in Ireland at any point because there can be really a lot of runs of cloudy, dark days. Anyways, so for me, it's been a success. I have not had any side effects. So if this sounds like something that might be of interest to you, do talk to your doctor. I found that it's a great adjunct with the other things that I do, relaxation, exercise, warm water therapy, hydrotherapy is amazing. I found it amazing for me. It allows me to move around even with all the problems in my spine, and exercise. I really miss that when the pools all have been closed with COVID. So explore. In addition, first I explored all the other non-chemical options. But you also have to recognize when you need some extra help. Okay, so that is one question I really wanted to answer straight up. So that probably took a long time. I also probably have said at some point in the video, in case I haven't, that I am going to stitch up one of my shawls to show you how I make a poncho. It's really easy. It's just mattress stitch, but just sometimes it's nice to see. I know for me, the way that I learn, it's nice to see. So I will do that in an upcoming video. Probably I'll try to do that next week because I know a lot of people are interested in that. Also, I want to show you some of the local yarns, because I had a question about somebody wanted to see some of the local yarns that they could purchase from the area via Irish Fiber Crafters. So I'll show you that. And I have a few other questions to answer, but I'll just do them all bit by bit. So, okay, friends. So I will wrap this up now, and don't forget about the Curiostitches KAL and entering here on YouTube in the comments section with which Curiostitches pattern you'd like to win, and I will choose that either in the next video or the one after. So anyways, so I'm getting hot. So yeah, thank you so much for stopping by at Wild Cottage, and I hope you're doing as well as you can be, and I hope September, it's a change of season no matter what hemisphere you're in, and I hope the changes will be good for you. And so take care, and talk to you very soon. With love from Wild Cottage.